Hey, Fremont family, Matthew here with this week's devotional on our memory verse, which is Romans 12, verse 11. Do not be slothful in zeal, be fervent in spirit, serve the Lord. Do not be slothful in zeal, be fervent in spirit, serve the Lord. Here, Paul continues this quick list, one after the other, of exhortations for believers. In this verse, I think with these three things: do not be slothful in zeal, fervent in spirit, be then serve the Lord. He gives us this chain of kind of logically connected imperatives. First, he says, do not be slothful in zeal. Other translations say, do not lack diligence in zeal. Zeal here is our excitement. It is doing one's best. It is our passion, our eagerness. And here in the context, the zeal is for obeying the Lord, really an eagerness and an excitement to obey the Lord and to serve Him. Paul urges us to not become complacent, but instead to cultivate a passion and an eagerness to serve God. And I think it's connected to me with what we talked about this past Sunday, the passage that Pastor David taught on from 2 Corinthians chapter 8, that we should seek to excel in the things of God, seeking to excel, seeking to have zeal and excitement for Christ-likeness. I also think about this. It's kind of connected to Jesus's parable of the seeds, on the seeds on different soils. If you remember from Matthew chapter 13, there are seeds on different kinds of soils, on the path, on the thorns, and on the rocks. Those seeds, they spring up immediately, it says. And there is a joy about them. They receive the word with joy, Jesus says. But as soon as a trial comes, as soon as a tribulation comes, they're scorched by the sun. They lose all their excitement. They lose their zeal. And Paul warns us here in Romans 12 to be diligent about our zeal, to not be slothful or lazy about zeal, but instead to cultivate it, because I think this is really the heart of the warning. I think there's so many things in this life that seek to steal away our zeal for God. The circumstances we face, the frustrations that others may bring to us, the joylessness of others that seek to, I think, this semester at church we've been in on Wednesday nights in the book of Job, and I think about Job and his friends really are these agents of stealing away his zeal for following God. And so Paul warns us to be diligent to cultivate that excitement for that eagerness to follow God. And his antidote for this comes in the next exhortation. If we're to not be slothful in our zeal, he says, it's almost, but instead be fervent in spirit. That word fervent, it's this really seeking to be filled with the Spirit, to seek after, but that word fervent is typically used to describe, as kind of the meaning behind the Greek, is to describe a pot of boiling water. When a pot is at that boiling point, there's all this kind of excitement and the vapors and the bubbles and everything. He's almost saying, be boiling with the Spirit. And this could get us in trouble because we think of someone is at a boiling point. Often that is connected to someone's getting angry or they're about to snap. But the imagery though is one of readiness, anticipation, energy around the Spirit in our lives. We should be so in step with the Spirit, pursuing and cultivating our relationship with Him, that we are eager and ready and zealous to then do the next thing. For what? What is it that we are to be eager and ready for? Well, Paul tells us right there, to serve the Lord. This is what he says, to serve the Lord, to do the work which God has called for us. This is the kind of, I said the logical chain of this verse, to fight spiritual complacency by cultivating our relationship with the Spirit, to be filled with the Spirit in order to serve the Lord, not to earn His favor, right? That's all of Romans 12. And Romans 12 starts with that, famous verse, in view of God's mercy, brothers and sisters, we are to present ourselves as a living sacrifice. It's not the other way around. It's not be fervent in the Spirit and serve the Lord, and then maybe God will give you attention. No, it is God has already shown His love and mercy for you. Therefore, this is how we can live. So that's the encouragement this week as we consider this verse and really this whole chapter of Romans 12, that we would be fervent in our following of the Spirit, that we would be really guard against complacency and apathy in our lives, especially in our relationship with the Lord, and that the fruit of that, the result of that, would be hearts ready to serve. And what a great reminder is this, especially in this season that we're entering, that can be such a challenge for many, the holiday season, but really seeking that this would be a time for us to cultivate our relationship with God, eager to serve Him by serving those around us. So I pray that that is an encouragement for you this week. We will have the prayer on this on Wednesday, but just so glad for this church community that we can come together around a verse like this and really consider what it means to fervently seek God's Spirit in our lives and to serve Him. So pray that for you. Be blessed this week, Fremont.